Hey guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lew. Coming to you live from Accelerate Life University, XLR8Life.com. Coach Lew will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the motivation, the energy, the life, and all the success you really want and deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lew. Here's Coach Lew.
How about now? How about now? Test one.
Yes.
How about now?
Yes,
Test. All right, we have sound. All right, guys, I've been talking to the wind for about 15 minutes. or however long. All right. I'm not going to restart up the show on that note. I am going to begin it here and we will edit that out. Oh, that is just obnoxious. That's what happens when you have technology. All right, let's rewind. What's a new habit coach needs? To do a sound check before we start. What a concept. What a concept, right? Now I know what a new habit I need to start. Guys, last week we talked about developing your habits, okay? And I'm kind of improvising now because I really don't remember exactly everything I just said. All right, starting out. Last week we talked about developing your habits, okay? What new habit did you install? What did you do? What new habit did you come up with that you are beginning to develop? I realize, and I know you're saying, hey, come on, it's been a week, coach. You know, we talked about this last week and you said it can take up to 90 days to really install that habit fully. Sure it can. I'm not saying it doesn't. What I am saying is you need to start the process. If you have not taken one habit, or hopefully a couple of habits, or a few habits, if you're an overachiever like I know most everybody on this program is in the morning, what new habit did you install? And have you already seen some change and some difference from that? Okay? So if you didn't, go back, do the exercise, go back to last week's show. The replays are on the site, accelerate-life.com. And that is the key. Go back and just start. You know, and you might say, oh, I got to sign up for the blog. Do I have to? No, you don't have to pay for it. What that does is that keeps spam and scam off of our blog for our private viewers. I want you guys to be able to have this material because frankly, I do a lot of teaching in this, and this is, teaching no charge for stuff that I normally charge for. So, I want to keep the people out of there that are going to try to, sell you Viagra or something like that while you're trying to do your coursework with me, while you're learning. So we keep our blog very clean and locked down. And, this is good material. This is stuff I teach live. This is stuff I teach in coaching. So I want you to have that available. Go back and watch the replay if you didn't see last week's show. But, the key to this is, we left off with the question. If you weren't on last week's show, we talked about installing positive habits and habits that are going to take you to your goals and what that takes and how to do it and how long it takes and what the rewards of that is. Then we left off with the question. I literally left off with the question about what about the bad habits? And that's where we ended last week's show. Now, let's first off define what a bad habit is. A bad habit is not this, okay? Let's first off define what it's not. I know you're going, I want to know what this is. What a bad habit isn't is an occasional derail from your normal habits. An example, you have a ZAG meal. If you've taken some of my courses, if you've been lucky enough to either do a HEALS Live or you've taken HEALS, the HEALS, Healthy Eating and Lifestyle course on our site, you'd know that we have this thing called a ZAG meal you do every so often to prevent cravings and binging, etc. Okay, but it's not a bad habit unless you do it all the time, routinely, repetitively, and it's really getting in your way. A little derailment, it's 4th of July weekend. Happy Independence Day, by the way. By the end of today, you're going to be independent of bad habits, too. But, we went to fireworks Saturday night. It was absolutely amazing. And guess what? I had a Chicago dog. Okay, I normally don't eat that, and the bun and all that. But that was one Chicago dog out of months and months of not eating hot dogs and crap like that. Okay, that's not a bad habit. On the 4th of July and maybe on the occasional event at our local Ryder Park there where they have the band shell and that, once in a while when the food trucks are there, I'll have a Chicago dog. That's a bad habit. No, it isn't. It's a little zigzag in the road. Okay? It's not like I go and eat a hot dog every day and eat dirty every day. So that's not a bad habit. That's not what falls into a habit. Oh my God, I overslept today and, I was late for work and I'm stressed out and, you haven't done that in 6 months. That's not a habit. It's not a bad habit. You had a little derailment. Now let's get into what the heck the real bad habits are. This is habit hell right here, my friends. Okay, a bad habit is something you do on a regular basis that stops you from succeeding or sabotages your successes in the progress you make. Now, on the note of eating or drinking something, a bad habit would be, eating good during the week, and on the weekend you drink a case of beer, smoke cigarettes, and eat fried chicken all weekend. And then, have a big old fatty omelet, and home fries over at Denny's on Sunday morning to soak up the alcohol. That is a bad habit because, number one, it is stopping you from succeeding, but you're sabotaging. You might eat clean, vegan, vegetarian, raw all week, which is great, but then you take a whole weekend and you beat the hell out of your body. That is a bad habit. Now, to be going along in life and, eating really clean and exercising, being super fit, and you go out one night and, you haven't been out in a while and you have a couple beers with your friends, or, you eat some chicken wings, once every few months, and or here and there. That's not necessarily a habit. That, again, is that little zigzag. The thing is on a regular basis or routinely, that stops you from succeeding or sabotages the success that you're making. Okay, number two, with how you can define it's a bad habit, it's something you can change and you're in control of changing. Okay, if your body stops producing insulin, you're a type 1 diabetic, okay, you can kind of control that with medication and with insulin or whatever. And I'm not going to play doctor on this, but that's not something you can necessarily change. If you're borderline type 2 diabetic because of your horrendous eating habits again, that you can change and you are in control of that. You don't stuff all that sugary crap down your throat, okay? But somebody who's type 1 diabetic, okay, their habit of having to do insulin is life-saving because they can't change that. You're not in control of that. You see the difference there? So to understand, and there's very little in this world we're not in control of or that we can't affect change, but sometimes there are things. But so for it to be a bad habit, it has to be something you can change or you're in control of changing, okay? It's like, peeing your pants. When you're a little kid and you're learning to use the bathroom and you're still wearing a diaper, once in a while you might pee your pants. It doesn't mean you got a bad habit of peeing your pants. If you become an adult and you're still peeing your pants because you're too lazy to go to the bathroom, and you just sit there and pee in the chair, that's disgusting, and that's something you can change. If you have a disease where you maybe had a surgery or something and you can't control that, that's not a bad habit of peeing your pants. That's a physical problem that you can't change. Okay, you see the difference here? And I know I'm using some radical examples, but we need to. This isn't sugarcoat the shit and go, okay, and it's just, no, either it's within your change or it's not. If you can change it and you're in control of that change, it's a bad habit. Accept it and be ready to change. Okay, number one. Number three, is it something you can rationalize or blame on somebody else, but you really still have that control to change it? Then it's a bad habit, because we all have a bad habit of wanting to rationalize, dumb down, etc., or blame somebody. When I was fat, okay, when I put on all the weight, I rationalize that. Well, I'm busy, I'm on the road, I fly a lot, and it's success, it's a sign of success. No, it was a sign of a really horrendous set of habits. But then in changing it, you can change it. And I could blame someone else. Sure, I could. The way I was brought up, the people around me, the restaurants and the airport. It was easy to try to blame. But really, where did that responsibility lie? Okay? So if you start to rationalize or blame for it, good chance it's a bad habit. Number 4 sign that it's a bad habit, you are aware of the habit, the damage it does, and you fail to take action to stop it. Okay? You might have a habit that you've done for years. You now understand that it's not good or it's holding you back, and you're taking action, and you're still fat, or you're still peeing your pants, or you're still, whatever, but you're getting better at it. I know I'm using silly examples. I want you guys to laugh. This is fun stuff. But you're taking action, you're in process, and you're like, well, still once in a while, or it's, I'm getting out of it. Okay, but you're putting it in the rear view mirror. You're not continuing to do the same thing over and over again. Okay, now don't forget, not all habits are bad, not all habits are good. There are some neutral habits, and these are the ones that are really scary ground. It's pretty black and white what's a good habit or a bad habit. These neutral ones hang out in the gray zone. Well, I got a habit of, checking Facebook first thing in the morning. Why are you checking Facebook? Are you checking Facebook to respond to an ad you've got running? Are you checking Facebook because one of your kids is on a vacation and you're excited to see what they're doing today? Or are you just scrolling through Facebook because you feel like it's the thing to do? You see the scroll, do it with me. People just looking at their phones, scrolling. They don't give a shit what they're looking at, okay? It's just something to look at. Well, that is not necessarily a bad habit because it's not making them do something bad. It's certainly not a good habit because it's certainly not making them go, woohoo, and maybe they're even getting mad and responding to a few things that really have nothing to do with them personally. But that's a neutral habit that eats up time, eats up your eyes, eats up your energy, eats up your brain power. For what? You got a specific reason to get on Facebook first thing in the morning because you've got ads running and you need to see how they're going, and you want to check your analytics, so you can, at your morning meeting, present that to your social media manager and say, hey, look at this, we got to do something here or whatever. Or, are you, doing it for inspiration? Maybe you belong to some inspirational boards or, something like that. Or you want to be on this show and you happen to watch it on Facebook. That's a good reason to get up on Monday morning and open Facebook. But if you're just going to do the scroll and drool and the scroll and drool, that is a neutral habit that is holding you back in life. It's setting your day up to go, let's see what the world is saying today and let me feel what they feel. Crap. BS, bad belief system, okay? So I'm using that as an example, but it's not necessarily a bad habit. You're not, toxing your body by looking at Facebook in the morning. And it's not necessarily a good habit unless it's something you look and go, okay, I'm going to go to the inspirational page and I'm going to, take a scripture away from that, or I'm going to take a quote away from that, and I'm going to instill that for the day, and then I'm going to get the hell off Facebook. Okay, after the show, get the hell off Facebook. Make a couple comments, get off if you're watching on Facebook. Don't fall into that abyss that keeps you, and social media is horrible about that, where you just kind of flow through it, but it isn't serving you. You're not doing anything. That's a neutral habit that's holding you back. So it's borderline bad. Okay, so now the big question is, you go, okay, it's kind of common sense what a bad habit is. I'm glad you defined some of these things and made me squirm in my chair a little, Coach, because I needed to hear this, even though I don't want to hear this. And then you go, well, how do we get rid of a bad habit? How do we destroy a bad habit? Glad you asked this, because this is the fun part. This is when you get rid of it, not just set it aside, not use an excuse, not BS yourself, and that's belief system, not bad belief system yourself, not beat yourself up, but just get rid of the problem. Get rid of the bad habit. Okay, what do you do? Number one, identify it clearly. What is it? What is the bad habit? I hit the snooze button 3 times. Okay, let's walk that through as an example as I give you the steps. Let's talk about the snooze button. Okay, so identify it. I hit the snooze button 3 to 5 times every morning. Okay, what is that habit? That habit is you think that you need more sleep. You think you're doing yourself a favor. That's the positive intent there. But the negative is you shove yourself right back into that early sleep stage and you keep yanking yourself out of it, and you feel worse than if you had just gotten up in the first place. That is physical fact, okay? But this isn't a sleep study here, but I'm using this as an example. So you identified the habit. You know, I've really got to stop this bullshit. I've really got to stop this hitting the snooze button in the morning, okay? So number 2, stop minimizing it, okay? As you're writing these steps down, in that case, call it what it really is. Okay, you might say, oh, I'm tired. I need a few more minutes sleep. You know, I want to make sure I'm up when I'm really supposed to be, so I start a half hour earlier. Why don't you just get up when you're supposed to get up? You don't have to fake yourself out. You're not 2 years old. We don't have to mix up the peas inside the blueberry buckle baby food to get you to swallow the peas. You're an adult. Even if you're not quite an adult and you're watching this, you're still old enough if you're watching this show. I don't care if you're a teenager, you're watching this show. If your mom and pops are still mixing your peas into other food to get you to eat good food, you got a problem. Okay, so call it what it really is. Okay, if you got to call yourself effing lazy because of the snooze button to get yourself motivated, call yourself effing lazy. If you need to go to bed 30 minutes earlier at night, go to bed 30 minutes earlier at night. Okay, stop minimizing what it is. It is what it is. If you're hitting that snooze button, because we're using this as an example, that you are being lazy or you are being irresponsible, however you want to term it. Term it nastily, okay? Don't go, well, I'm a little off kilter. No, that's not going to get you to make change. And I'm not picking on you. I'm not calling you lazy. I'm not calling you fat. I'm not calling you irresponsible. What I'm simply doing is getting you to harden those words. If you want to stop, if you minimize it, I'm a little robust. No, if you feel like you're fat, you're going to make a change. If you feel you're a little robust, you're okay with it. That's the difference. And I don't care what you weigh or don't weigh. That's between you and you. That's not for me to judge you, okay? Then, number 3, ask yourself, what kind of person really does this shit? Okay? What kind of person just lays there and hits a snooze button and hits a snooze button and hits a snooze button instead of getting up and taking on their day and stepping up? You're a step-up person. If you're on a show like this and you're watching and you want to learn and grow and you want something that's valuable, that's going to give you a valuable return in life, what kind of person sits there and goes, oh, I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up. You think about that. You know, that's weak. That's miserable. Okay? Are you that kind of person? No. You might be the person going, I'm really tired and I got a lot going on. That I got empathy there for you. But if you get up and get moving, there you go. You're not that kind of person anymore. You're the kind of person that steps up and goes, whether I want to or not, I'm going to. So are you that person? Or are you that, it's so rough to get up in the morning, wah. Or are you the person that goes, you know what, this is a little challenging, but you know what, I'm stepping up. Because you know what, once you're up, when you're that step up person, and you wake up, and you go, oh good, now I don't have to rush. Oh good, I hit the interstate traffic a little earlier. It's not as bad. Oh, this is so much less stressful. You become a different person. You become somebody that owns the goodness in you, the ability to step up and do something for yourself, not the person who whines and complains and that damn boss, if we didn't have that meeting, I could get my 15 minutes of sleep. Really? If 15 minutes of sleep makes a difference to you, you got a problem. You can get to bed earlier, okay? You're going, oh, he's beating on us this morning. I'm not beating on you, I'm getting you to wake up, literally. All right, number 4, write down everything you have lost because of this bad habit and who you have hurt by it. We all know we'll do more for the people we care about than we will do for ourselves. So in that habit, what have you lost out on? Okay, well, I'm always stressed out. I don't have time in the morning, and I'm groggy, and my kids, you know, I'm on them. I'm screeching at them. Hurry up, eat your cereal, get your clothes on, get out. You're gonna miss the bus. You know, you're hurting them. You're teaching them that's the way life is, this big hurry, it's miserable. You know, your kids are an annoyance to you. You'd be surprised what they take out of this. So if you got kids, and if not, even your pets, poor dog wants to go out and go to the bathroom and you're going, hurry up, I gotta get out of here. Yeah, they feel that too, okay? So who are you hurting by keeping this nasty habit? And again, we're using hitting the snooze button and oversleeping as an example, because it's a good one. Okay? So once you really, now feel this pain. Hopefully it brings a tear to your eyes and you feel this in your chest, a little tightness where you go, yeah, I'm losing out on a lot and I'm stressing myself out, and man, I'm always screaming at the kids in the morning, and that should be a time of bonding with your kids. Doesn't mean you don't have to get their little butts motivated and get them moving and, have some structure. But if it's your fault that everybody's late and stressed out, you're hurting your kids. You're hurting your pets. You're hurting your spouse. You're hurting your job by showing up late all the time. Whatever it is. So number 5, okay, decide you're not that kind of person. Okay, I've been through these journeys. I'm not PFAing here, guys. That means pulling from the air or pulling from your ass. I'm not PFAing and read it in a book and this is some procedure I learned in a psychology book. I've walked this, okay? Literally, I used to wake up, suck down a cup of coffee, run out the door, get in the car, drive like a bat out of hell to the airport, get through security, walk on the plane, and they'd usually close the door right behind me. I had it that keyed in, but I was stressed and in a hurry, and I'd get on the plane. And one time I missed the plane. That taught me a real good lesson. But, and that was flying twice a week, back and forth. And, that probably did so much damage to my system and my psyche at the time. And then I decided I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that half-assed last-minute person, because now there's people look to me for help on this. Do I want to teach my family that that's the way to live? Do I want to feel that stressed out all the time? No. So I've changed that person to the one that is, the habit is to be a little bit earlier. Get up 15 minutes earlier, because it'll save you like a half hour's worth of stress in the morning. It's weird how that decompresses into more time in the morning. When I wake up, and I rarely use an alarm. Sometimes I have to set one to just make sure, in the event that I'm overtired and oversleep or something on a morning I've got somewhere to be or to do the show. I rarely ever hear that alarm, because I'm usually up beforehand. I'm usually up every day between 10 to 6, quarter after 6 at the latest. And, if I wake up at 5:30, I'm not going back to sleep, because I'm going to go into a bad sleep cycle, which is a whole talk for a different day. Actually, you can find those on the blog under our H1 series, where we talk about that. But, if I wake up a half hour early, I feel like I've found gold. I've got an extra half hour of my day that's to me, to do something for me, to get going, to plan, to create, or do something nice for somebody else. That's 30 minutes you gain that you don't get time back. You don't get to the end of your life and go, hey, I'm going to cash in some extra chips here. When it's done, it's done. So, become that kind of person that you value your time and you give value to that time. Make sense? All right, number 6. This is a long list, guys. I hope you're writing it down. Commit. And you know what? It is 4th of July, so I know you're not working. So you can't tell me, well, most people aren't working, so you can't tell me, oh, Lou, I had to shut the show off early. No, you got to face the music today. If you shut the show off, that's your decision, and you're the one losing out. Commit to change when? Now. Not, well, let me start at New Year's or at my next birthday or at the beginning of the week. Now. Commit now. This is easy, especially on a day like 4th of July. You got some time to play with this. You got an hour to yourself to where maybe a normal Monday you wouldn't. Write it down. Why am I committed to changing today? What am I committed to changing today? Number 7, write down the new habit you're going to replace it with. You cannot take something away. We, as a nature of a human being, do not like loss. We don't like to give something up, even if it's something bad. We don't like to give it up. Okay, so think of it this way. What can I replace it with? Okay, well, I can replace that with, if I stop hitting the snooze button, I'm going to buy a rebounder so I can get on the rebounder and bounce for 10 or 15 minutes in the morning, which has countless health benefits, but it's going to give you, it's fun. Put on some music, enjoy yourself, spend some time with your kids, read, pray for 15 minutes, meditate. Exercise. Create a new habit that gives you energy and makes you feel good. Whoo, how different is that? All right, number 8, write down who you have to become to live the new habit. All right, if you wrote down earlier that, well, what kind of person does this? A lazy person, for instance. And I'm not calling you lazy if you hit the snooze button. I'm just telling you that I'm using this for an example, but that might be a really good idea to make this change. So what kind of person do you have to become to have this new habit? A motivated lover of life, a gainer of time, a creator of time, a creator of habits, the morning dad, the morning mom, the whatever it is, the morning lover. It's not a bad idea. Hey, you want to get up 15, 20 minutes earlier in the morning? That might be a whole lot more fun than rushing around and trying to, suck down coffee and spilling it down the front of your shirt and you can't find your keys and being in that mode. How different would morning be if you started it out that way? I don't know. Ask your spouse. Maybe they'll tell you. No, seriously, who do you have to become to live that new habit? What title? What do you name that part of you? The day grabber, oh God, that sounds like somebody who'd be arrested in the mall. All right, it's day Caesar, whatever. You know what I'm talking about here, guys. You give that an identity that makes you feel good. Sunriser, sunboarder, morning sunboarder, whatever it is. Give yourself that little nickname for that person who gets out of bed and gets going. All right? And then write down all that you're going to gain and all the good you're going to do by your loved ones by doing this. See, that's the thing. Your loved ones, your community, your employees, your friends, whatever, are going to find if you have like a new habit of actually getting up and starting your day and you have a better attitude, how are you going to affect the people around you? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So I have a little morning habit that I do. And so it used to be in the shower. It's inspired by Tony Robbins' cold plunges, and I'm not quite to where I have a cold plunge tub. But what I do is, it started out, I'd turn the shower on to cold for, the end of it for 20, 30 seconds and, say a little motivational thing or a little prayer, because when it's cold, well, the house we live in currently, the water's not as cold. It's not well water. And so Jen got me this basin thing, this nice big metal bucket, and I would put ice and water in there and splash my face in it after the shower. Oh, hey, that worked pretty good to wake me up, and it's good for, your skin. I was like, okay. Then I was like, still not quite the effect I want. So now, when I shut the shower off in the morning, I march out, I stick my face in this thing for 20, 30 seconds. I pick this thing up, I go back in the shower, and now that is a cold splash. What a difference. I can be groggy, not really engaged, dragging butt, however you want to call it. And after that, woo, am I awake. See, that's where you take a negative habit from before, just taking a hot shower, getting out, feeling like, okay, let's get this day started. I could use another cup of coffee, to this, boom, few seconds that absolutely shoots the blood to every vessel and cell in your body, totally wakes up your mind. And it's about 1 second of hell or 2 seconds of hell, and you instantly feel better. What do you got to lose by something like that absolutely cranks your day to a level 10 instantly, and you might be at level 1 or 2 before you start it? You see, these are the things. This is a habit that I've adopted, and initially I was like, ugh, here we go, oh God. Now it's like boom, 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 no negotiation, splash. Don't think about it, just do it. And now it's habit. Now I look forward to it. I'm like, wow, if I don't get my cold splash in the morning, I don't feel quite as good during the day. Now, these things can be, it doesn't have to be a cold splash. I highly recommend it. Or a cold plunge if you're lucky enough to have a cold plunge pool. Or not even lucky enough if you work hard enough and create it. So isn't today as good as any to start building these habits that'll give you an amazing life that you can share and help other people feel amazing? It's all in the habits, guys. All in the habits. Why would you not want to do something that would absolutely change your life, isn't bad, and really makes things better. Would that not be the way to go? When is the time to make the change? Would it not be now? I think so. All right, guys, I got a little something to say to you before we close out this morning. It is July 4th, 2022, and you might be listening to the replay or watching the replay at some point. It might be 2029. We've had a tumultuous, which just means rough, bumpy, couple of years here. When is now a time to reunite our country? I realize not everybody agrees. I realize not everybody believes in the same creators. I realize not everybody, is going to be the same. And that's the thing about this nation. We're not the same. And that's what makes the United States of America. What is the same, what should be the same, is that bond between each and every one of us. We're all brothers and sisters of our God, of our nation, however you want to term that, if you call it universe. Yet, there's so much dissension and so much fighting going on right now. And we're watching our country denigrate in so many ways, and things happen, and inflation, and this, that, and the other. You know why that can happen? Because we don't stand united. It doesn't matter. We're not always going to agree on everything. I don't care if you don't totally agree with my opinions. I don't care if you don't totally believe things the way I believe. What I do believe is we're all created equally. Nobody should be harmed or fear harm just by walking down the street. And if you lose your freedom in a country, you will. Nobody should be harassed because of their color, their name, their this, their that. Nobody should be held back. But there is no equality beyond that. Beyond that, you create. And you're like, ooh, he's saying something scary, no equality. No, if you're lazy and you're sitting home, eating Cocoa Puffs, smoking pot, playing video games at 18 years of age, you don't deserve the same rewards as somebody who's maybe 60 years old and absolutely out busting their tail and running a business or working hard and creating, etc. No, that's where equality stops, at the basic equality of you deserve not to be harmed, you deserve to be allowed to make your own decisions. That's equality, my friends. You don't mistreat somebody because they're different than you, a different color, a different nationality, a different race, a different religious belief, a different way of life. You don't go harm somebody or deny them, you're not coming to my business because you're young or old or this, that, or the other. But when you think about it, equality is the equal ability to go as far as you put the effort in. That's what I'm trying to say here. You got to put in the effort. When it comes to how much money you make, it shouldn't be across the board. You shouldn't work for the government and they hand you a check and some food stamps. That's not freedom. That's not the United States of America. The deal is here is you can go as far as you want to go. And that's the cool thing about this beautiful country, is nobody's going to hold you back if you put in the effort. Because we've gone past the dark ages of times when, let's face it, when people were in a position where they were mistreated or had to use different bathrooms and stuff like that because of the color of their skin. That was barbaric days, and that wasn't everybody. That was a very few who were hatred oriented. But also we've shifted things in a way where it's more about, who can complain the most and you shut them up. No, by giving and handouts. No, it's about rewarding. And hear me here, let's hear this again. Rewarding people for putting in the effort, for doing greatness in their communities, for becoming leaders, for contribution. But just because somebody's rich doesn't mean they owe you something if you're lazy. And just because you're lazy doesn't guarantee you a check. You got to step up. You got to create these habits. And it's not always easy. But when you look at some of the people who have made it the best in life, Les Brown, born on a warehouse floor to a crackhead mother, born premature, told he was retarded, this, that, and the other. That man gets up and just captivates an audience and teaches people from his heart, how to take themselves to the next level. And it has nothing to do with, oh, you're do this or you're do that just because you live here. He teaches you the same thing I teach. You're born all the same. You're born naked without a damn thing in this world, and you go out pretty much the same way. Because it doesn't matter what you've earned at the end of it. It's what you've done and affected and created and been. It's who you became. So I strongly encourage you to go ahead and jump in and work on these habits. Install the good ones, get rid of the bad ones, corral the neutral ones. Okay, it doesn't mean you never look at Facebook and have some good laughs and fun, but the blind scrolling, and I use Facebook as an example, but it's other stuff. How many times can you look at your email in 15 minutes? Right? That's the thing. Create the habits that make you win. And when you do that, you want to help your community. You maybe are in a lower income community and you want to help that community not be in poverty. You don't scream loud and say we need more government checks. Okay? I grew up in a community as such, okay? I'm not judging here. Okay? I remember saying to a friend of mine when I was 16 years old in my tiny little apartment that I'd sleep on the floor half the winter right up against a space heater because that was the only place I could keep warm. All right? We're not talking about, somebody who, was born into privilege of, I had jet planes and everything else and great cars. No, my car was a piece of shit. It was a little pickup truck. It was falling apart, but I bought it so I could make extra money. Okay? My whole point to this is you don't affect change by going, my point was my buddy was over playing video games. Okay? I like video games too. It wasn't that, I'm against video games or doing social fun stuff. And he was considerably older. This dude was, a lot older and lived around the corner, didn't have a vehicle, got a government check. And he said to me, and so honestly, he said, "Why do you work so hard, kid? You're a good kid. You don't spend much time with your girlfriend. You don't spend, much time partying with us, your buddies. You're always working. You work that day job and you work a night job and you're trying to get some education in. And, man, my life's easy. I go to the mailbox. I go see my dealer. I get some joints to smoke and we hang out and eat Cocoa Puffs and play video games." That's where my Cocoa Puffs and video games sarcasm comes from all the time. And I looked at him, and this was a really defining moment. I really appreciate this friend because he didn't realize what he did for me. I looked at him and I said, "You know why?" I said, "Because in 5 years, I'm not going to know what it's like to live in this neighborhood. In 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you're still going to live around the corner without a vehicle and you'll still go get your check each morning. Is that really what you want to live like?" I was like, "Seriously, do you really?" And I was like, "I don't. I want out." But then, as a turn of life, I want to help other people get out if they're in that situation. I want to help other people grow. If you're already making it and killing it and doing great, I want to help you to the next level. If you don't know where your next dollar is, I want to help you find that so you can turn that into 10, so you can turn that into 100, so you can turn it into so much that you can help design. Guess what you could do? You could sit there and collect a government check and stay in the poverty-ridden neighborhood, or you can make it big and you can go back and build a school in that neighborhood to teach other people how to do what you did and get out. Isn't that better than just saying, well, that's the way it is? Change your habits, change your lives, my friends. Live with faith, energy, passion, always live your dreams. And I'm going to end us out with something really cool here.
Can you see?
Stand your butts up. I know you're only seeing my chest, but stand up. And remember, we are all one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready to take it to the next level? Next level? Tune in to XLR8Life.com for our live shows, encore presentations, life-changing courses, and live coaching with Coach Lew himself. As Coach Lew always says, live with faith, energy, love, passion, and always live your dream.